With all this talk online about chord shapes and changing chords and stuff like that, a thing that's often overlooked is your thumb and your finger positioning on creating the chord shapes. So we're going to take a look at that in this lesson. Now, for this one, I'm going to begin with the G chord to begin. And I just want to show you the G here, right? And I'm going to start with my thumb position. And in general, I suggest the thumb having a sort of an 11 o'clock type, not like this, because do you see the bend that happens in my arm? Like, watch this. That's it there, now watch. See the bend in the arm and the wrist. We don't want that bend. So keep it at a nice 12 o'clock angle, like that. And the palm isn't on the back of the neck. See the space between the back of the neck and the palm? I'm not doing that either. Right, so thumb is at 11 o'clock, palm is away from the back of the neck. So that's that. And of course your thumb is going to move. Like if I was playing G, E minor, C and D, watch my thumb. And the purpose to show that isn't to say you need to put like laser dots on your fretboard and get your thumb here to this. No, it naturally tends to flow for the chord shape at hand. But just keep an eye that the palm isn't on the back of the neck and that your thumb's at that nice sort of 11 o'clock type of angle, okay? And by the way, if your chords are okay as they are, don't change anything, right? That's the other thing I'd say is, because everyone has different approaches. Like if you look at the way I just played and you looked at the way other teachers play online, we're all different, but we all get clear chords and fast chord changes. So I'm suggesting that if you are kind of stuck with a few chord shapes, it's worth the go. Then, your fingers. With your fingers, the first thing to remember is that the fingers do need to be close to the frets. We've touched on this a few times, but it's worth remembering. So many problems can be solved by just moving them close to the frets. Then, pressing hard. Hard as in, you should see the white on your nail or on the tips of your fingers to visually let yourself know you're pressing hard. We don't do it by ear. We listen to our chords to check are they clear, but if you're only basing your playing assessment for yourself by ear, the mistakes will already have happened. So if my chord's unclear and I hear it, it's already unclear. But if I'm about to strum and I see my fingers don't look like they're pressing hard enough, then I can press hard before I strum. So that's important. Then, with the fingers, there's a few things. So fingers close to the frets. I tend to play with my knuckles fairly arched. So watch the way I'd be on G here. See my ring finger up here, middle finger. That's the thing. So I'm a nice height on the chords. And the way I think of that is the knuckle closest to the nail, which I once Googled and I couldn't pronounce the name, so I call it the knuckle closest to the nail. And basically, I'm making sure that's arched the whole time. Because watch if I don't do that. Watch my G. See the way the fingers are flat? And that won't come out. Watch, it's blocking the strings already. See that? Now watch. Fingertips arched. Right, so now your fingers close to frets, fingertips are arched, you're pressing hard. The other thing to watch is, when it comes to specific chords, there's tips to watch out for with finger positioning. Here, I'll give one. There's a ton. And by the way, if you're stuck on a specific chord, just post a comment on the mega thread for this guide and I can jump in and give you a hand, right? But for C, here's one. I once said to a student, slanty fingers make for stretchier chords. And when you look at C, if I do it like this, see the way my hand's all, is it contorted is the word? Watch it's all kind of rigid and stuff. Now watch. If I use the side of the fingers to play my C, the side of the nail, I can get a way bigger stretch. And you notice in the ring finger, the way that you can see the whole length in that ring finger. Now watch the other way. It's like that. The angle, it's almost coming straight with the fret, but if we go here, it's a lot better. All right, so that's one for C. Okay? Now, that's the key thing to keep in mind. And as always, it's worth working on this one thing. What I often share is with soccer, if a soccer team had great defense, great goalkeeper, midfielder brilliant, but none of the attackers could score any goals. I mean, they never scored. What do you think that team would work on in training? Attack. They'd work on being better at attack. If your chords are causing problems in your songs or your chord progressions or your playing in general, that's the one thing to take out into your training schedule, we'll call it, your practice routine, and work on. And how you work on it is you pick one chord, you spend a couple of minutes on that chord, making sure everything's clear, and then you start to test. You basically put on the chord shape quick and strum and see, do your fingers begin to go into place where they're meant to be, and your hand is starting to behave automatically. Because the repetition of what we work on guitar together here at the School of Guitar, it builds muscle memory where the muscles will fire off quick all by themselves. All right, so have fun. You might need to rewatch this once or twice and take some notes, but that's what the videos are here for, and you have the guide as well. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.